This is the Soundcore Motion X600, and it is the best Bluetooth speaker I've ever heard. If you think that sounds like a lot of hyperbole, you're not wrong, it does. But it's justified, and I will show you exactly why that is. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it once.
Hey, what's up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick, and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So this sleek looking speaker is Soundcore's newest model, the Motion X600. Now at first glance you might think it looks like a regular Bluetooth speaker. A good looking one, but you know, nothing out of the ordinary. That's not the case, because this is actually a very impressive piece of kit. If you've ever used some of Apple's newer AirPods, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of spatial audio. It is this really immersive sound that kind of mimics the 360-degree audio you get from a full surround system. Well, it's impressive enough to achieve this in a pair of headphones, but Soundcore took it to the next level and they were able to recreate that immersive experience in a Bluetooth speaker. Through a combination of speaker positioning and a smart algorithm, this speaker delivers a really wide soundscape that makes you feel like the audio is kind of washing over you. It also has an official certification for high-res wireless audio, and it guarantees wireless lossless music, so you can enjoy your music the way it was intended. And for you audiophiles out there, the Soundcore app offers Pro EQ, giving you up to 9 frequency bands to really fine-tune your custom audio experience. Don't worry, we will be doing some audio tests later on in the video, so you can hear all that crispy goodness for yourself. But before we do that, let's go over some of the features that make this speaker so impressive. So the first thing that stands out to me is the design. Most Bluetooth speakers come in black, either, a cylinder or a box, and they usually aren't much to look at. And if I'm being totally honest with you guys, that includes some of Soundcore's previous models too. Don't get me wrong, they're all great speakers, but I guess the boombox design is an acquired taste and not for everyone. With the Motion X600, Soundcore completely changed its design language, and I'm here for it. I really love the minimal look, the integrated buttons, the metal materials feel really premium, there's nothing plasticky about this thing, and I think it looks amazing here in the studio. The controls on the top are plain and simple. We have our on and off button. You long press it to turn the speakers on or off. Next to it, we see the Bluetooth button for easy pairing with your smartphone or other devices. And over here, we have a button that actually allows you to turn spatial audio on and off. And I will be showing you this later in our sound test so you can hear the massive difference that makes. The button next to it is to activate what Soundcore calls bass up, which lets you toggle between a modest bass and a bass boost. I pretty much always keep bass up enabled because I like a bass heavy sound in most music, and Soundcore managed to deliver this without any distortion whatsoever. Inside the app, you can choose other preset profiles like Soundcore Signature and profiles that emphasize certain elements of the audio like voice or treble. In the middle, we have the top firing full range speaker, and I will get back to that in a minute. And to the right of that, we have our volume controls and our play and pause button. Just a little heads up, we won't be able to test this thing at full volume today because I do have neighbors on both sides and above, and this thing gets really loud. I mean really loud. You can easily use this speaker as your main source of music for a party at your home or at a student house or something like that. With that said, you can connect multiple of these units using TWS if you do need that extra oomph. On the back, we have the I/O ports, a USB-C port, as well as a 3.5mm jack, giving us plenty of options for connecting devices to the speakers other than Bluetooth. As you can see, the ports are kept behind this thick rubber flap, and that has to do with the fact that this speaker has an Ipx7 rating, which means it's waterproof, so technically you could toss this thing into the pool and it should still come out fine. I don't really see myself doing that, but I will do this. had to do it just to show you that it can handle a splash or two, which is of course very useful, especially if you plan to use this thing for things like kids parties or if you want to take it to the pool with you. Also good to know in that context is that this speaker has great battery life, coming in at 12 hours, so you can take this thing out all day and still have some juice left when you get back home. Now let's move on to the most important thing, and that is of course the actual audio. Earlier in the video, I told you that the impressive sound is achieved by the positioning of the speakers as well as the software algorithm. But it's also because of the number of speakers that are actually inside this thing. Regular Bluetooth speakers usually have a single full range driver if it's a cylinder, or maybe a woofer and a tweeter. The X600 has 2 woofers, 2 tweeters, and 1 full range speaker, providing that really well-rounded soundstage. Soundcore got the inspiration for the speaker positioning by the acoustic design of classical opera houses, using the ultra-wide soundscape to provide that 3D spatial sound. Also an impressive feat is the frequency range, which ranges from as low as 65 Hz all the way up to 40 kHz, which means you can really hear the detail of the various musical instruments. Now for the sound test, a couple of small disclaimers. Of course, it's impossible to let you hear the full audio experience exactly the way I do sitting in front of the actual speaker. There's a mic involved, there's a preamp, and of course there's YouTube's compression, which certainly doesn't help. But we are using very high quality equipment to mitigate this as much as we can. Second disclaimer is the fact that the best possible music to demonstrate the amazing spatial audio and lossless audio can be found on services like Apple Music and Spotify. Unfortunately, for copyright reasons, we can't use those songs in this video. But rest assured, I spent a lot of time finding the best possible music that I could license to give you a good idea of the sound you might expect out of this thing. I will be switching spatial audio on and off, as well as the bass up button, so you can hear the difference. So guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm personally very impressed. You're basically getting the quality of a full hi-fi installation, but at a fraction of the price. Speaking of which, if you're interested in checking one of these out for yourself, there's a link down in the description. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.